Welcome, and thank you for turning to Home Helpers for help in caring for your loved one with dementia. Let's begin by understanding what the word dementia really means. Dementia is the result of damaged brain cells. A head injury, stroke, brain tumor, or disease, such as Alzheimer's disease, can damage brain cells and lead to dementia. Dementia isn't a specific disease. Rather, the word describes a group of symptoms affecting intellectual and social abilities severe enough to interfere with daily functioning. Memory loss generally occurs in dementia, but memory loss alone doesn't mean you have dementia. The term indicates problems with at least two brain functions, such as memory loss and impaired judgment or language. Approximately 5.4 million people in the United States have dementia, according to a study by the Alzheimer's Association. As the population of the United States continues to age, the prevalence of Alzheimer's disease is expected to nearly triple by 2050. The condition affects far more people than the millions who have been diagnosed. Caring for a person with dementia can have negative physical, mental, and emotional effects on the caregiver. As dementia progresses, your loved one might not seem like the person you once knew. Behavioral changes can be difficult for families to accept. Keep in mind that your loved one with dementia needs to feel respected and valued for who they are now, as well as for who they were in the past. Make a point of using the person's name, or address the person by the title you've always used. Our sense of who we are is closely connected to the names we call ourselves. It's important that people address the person with dementia in a way that the person recognizes and prefers. Many people with dementia have a fragile sense of self-worth. It's especially important that people continue to treat them with consideration, however advanced their dementia. Be kind and reassuring to the person you're caring for without talking down to them. Never talk over their head as if they are not there, especially if you're talking about them. Include them in conversations and always avoid scolding or criticizing. Try to make sure that the person's right to privacy is respected. Always knock on the person's bedroom door before entering. If your loved one needs help with intimate personal activities such as washing or using the toilet, do this sensitively and make sure the door is kept closed if other people are around. Each person with dementia is a unique individual with their own individual experiences of life, their own needs and feelings, and their own likes and dislikes. Although some symptoms of dementia are common to everyone, dementia affects each person in different ways. Improving communication skills will help make caregiving less stressful for you and life more enjoyable for your loved one. Set a positive mood by speaking to your loved one in a pleasant and respectful manner. Use facial expressions, tone of voice, and physical touch to help convey your message. Likewise, pay attention to your loved one's body movements, gestures, and facial expressions. Attitude and body language communicate feelings and thoughts more strongly than words. Get the person's attention. Limit distractions and noise by turning off the television or radio, and by creating a quiet space. Make and maintain eye contact. State your message clearly. Use simple words and sentences. Speak slowly, distinctly, and in a reassuring tone. Refrain from raising your voice higher or louder. Instead, pitch your voice lower. If your loved one is struggling to find a word or to form a thought, it's okay to suggest words. Just be sure to exercise patience. People with dementia often feel confused, anxious, and unsure of themselves. Be comforting, supportive, and patient. Talk about the good old days. Remembering the past is often a soothing and affirming activity. Many people with dementia may not remember what happened 45 minutes ago. but they can clearly recall their lives 45 years earlier. When making conversation, reach back to the past. Ask simple, answerable questions. Ask one question at a time. Those with yes or no answers work best. Refrain from asking open-ended questions or giving too many choices. For example, rather than asking, "What sweater would you like to wear today?" instead ask, "Would you like to wear your green sweater today?" Above all, maintain your sense of humor. Use humor whenever possible, though not at the person's expense. People with dementia tend to retain their social skills and are usually delighted to laugh along with you. The personality and behavioral changes that come with dementia are difficult for caregivers and loved ones. Often, a person with dementia develops agitation, which refers to a range of behaviors including irritability, sleeplessness, and verbal or physical aggression. Often, these types of behavior problems progress through the stages of dementia, from mild to more severe. It's important to remember that these changes are an effect of the disease and not a reflection on the person or your relationship with that person. It's also important to know that you cannot change this behavior. There are, however, things you can do to cope. Whenever possible, try to accommodate the behavior, not control it. For example, if the person insists on sleeping on the floor, place a mattress on the floor to make it more comfortable. People with dementia typically cannot tell us what they want or need, but their behavior might be trying to tell us something. For example, someone who takes all of her clothing out of the closet for no apparent reason might be bored or might need to feel productive. Always consider what behavior might be trying to tell you. It's important to understand that all behavior is triggered. It doesn't occur out of the blue. It might be something a person did or said that triggered a behavior, or it could be a change in the physical environment. Once you identify the triggers for your loved one's difficult behaviors, you can take steps to avoid them. Remember that what works today may work only for today. Dementia is a progressive condition, and the key to managing these difficult behaviors is being creative and flexible. Most often, agitation is triggered by a detour from routine, or when the person experiences control being taken from him. To reduce agitation, limit your loved one's consumption of caffeine, sugar, and junk food. Reduce noise and clutter. Maintain structure by keeping the same routines. Keep household objects and furniture in the same places. Familiar objects and photographs offer a sense of security and can suggest pleasant memories. Use calming techniques such as soothing music, a picture album, reading, or walks to reduce agitation. Ensuring that your loved one is eating enough nutritious foods and drinking enough fluids is a challenge. People with dementia literally begin to forget that they need to eat and drink. To help your loved one get the nutrition he needs, make meal and snack times part of the daily routine. Schedule them around the same time every day. Instead of 3 big meals, try 5 or 6 smaller ones. Make meal times a special time. Try flowers or soft music. Turn off loud radio programs and the TV. Put the focus on the meal. Dining is always more pleasant with company. Sit down and eat with your loved one. Don't focus on table manners or whether your loved one is dropping food onto himself or the floor. Eating independently should take precedence over eating neatly. Try finger foods, which might be easier for your loved one to eat. Pre-cut food before taking it to the table, and use a child's sippy cup to avoid spills. As a person's dementia progresses, ordinary tasks become more difficult. Don't rush. Allow plenty of time for your loved one to consume and enjoy each meal. Wandering is a common habit associated with dementia. People with dementia walk, seemingly aimlessly, for a variety of reasons. Those reasons might include boredom, side effects of medication, or to look for something or someone who might not even exist. They also may be trying to fulfill a physical need, such as thirst, hunger, a need to use the toilet, or exercise. Discovering the triggers for wandering is not always easy, but discovering these triggers can provide insights to dealing with the behavior. To minimize wandering, make time for regular exercise to combat restlessness. Try enlisting the help of faux barriers, like a curtain or a colored streamer, to mask the door. A stop sign or do not enter sign may also help. Put away essential items such as the person's coat, purse, or glasses. Some people won't go out without certain articles. If possible, provide a safe place for your loved one to wander, such as a fenced yard. People with dementia will often repeat a word, statement, question, or activity over and over again. While this type of behavior is usually harmless for the person with dementia, it can be annoying and stressful for caregivers. Sometimes this behavior is triggered by anxiety, boredom, fear, or environmental factors. Be on the lookout for what triggers this behavior and do what you can to avoid those triggers. Try distracting the person with a snack or activity. Avoid reminding the person that they just asked the same question. Instead, try to distract them away from the subject. Don't discuss plans with a confused person until immediately prior to an event. This will cut down on the stress the person might feel about that upcoming activity. Be clear and methodical with the person's daily routine. If they keep asking the same question, make a sign that might remind them of the answer. For example, if the person continually asks when is dinner, place a sign on the kitchen table that states dinner is at 6:30. You know that your loved one's fears are unwarranted, but to the person with dementia, feelings of paranoia are very real. Don't argue or ignore their feelings. Instead, take steps to calm their fears. If the confused person suspects money is missing, allow her to keep small amounts of money in a pocket or handbag for easy inspection. Help the person look for the object they think is missing and then distract them into another activity. Reassure your loved one that she is not alone. Again, these fears are real to her. Respond by saying, "Stay with me. I won't let anything happen to you." It is not uncommon for a person with dementia to accuse a loved one of taking her belongings or of other bad behavior. Don't take this personally. Paranoia is a part of the disease, not a statement on your relationship. For people with dementia, behaviors such as restlessness, agitation, and disorientation often become worse at the end of the day and sometimes continue throughout the night. Experts believe this behavior, commonly called sundowning, is caused by a combination of factors such as exhaustion from the day's events and changes in the person's biological clock that confuse day and night. To help minimize sundowning, encourage activity during the day, particularly physical exercise. Discourage napping and don't spend too much idle time watching television. Sugar, caffeine, and some types of junk food can worsen sleeplessness and sundowning. Eliminate or restrict these types of foods and beverages to early in the day. Plan smaller meals throughout the day, including a light meal, such as half a sandwich, before bedtime. Plan for the afternoon and evening hours to be quiet and calm. Perhaps take a stroll outdoors, play a simple card game, or listen to soothing music together. Turning on lights well before sunset and closing the curtains at dusk will minimize shadows and may help diminish confusion. At minimum, keep a nightlight in the person's room, hallway, and bathroom. Our highly trained and compassionate caregivers can provide companionship and assist with activities to encourage activity. In addition, they're able to stay with your loved one at night to ensure their safety and to allow you to get adequate rest. From childhood, we are taught that bathing and personal hygiene are private and personal activities. So it's no wonder that being undressed and cleaned by a caregiver can feel frightening, humiliating, and embarrassing for the person with dementia. As a result, bathing often causes distress for both caregivers and their loved ones. Address the issue by first determining your loved one's hygiene routine. Do they prefer baths or showers, mornings or nights? Did she have her hair washed at the salon or do it herself? Was there a favorite scent, lotion, or talcum powder she always used? Retain as much of their past bathing routine as possible. However, you can reduce stress for both of you by cutting back on the number of baths or showers your loved one receives. It might not be necessary to bathe every day. Never leave a loved one with dementia unattended in the bath or shower. Have all the bath things you need laid out beforehand so that you will not need to leave them alone during the bathing process. If the person has always been modest, enhance that feeling by making sure doors and curtains are closed. Whether in the shower or the bath, keep a towel over their front, lifting to wash as needed. Allow the person to do as much as he can on his own. Have towels and a robe or their clothes ready when they get out. Older adults are more sensitive to heat and cold, so be mindful of the environment, such as the temperature of the water and of the room. To reduce fears and risks of falling, use non-slip rubber pads in the shower or tub and invest in a shower seat. If bathing in the tub or shower is consistently traumatic, a bed bath provides a soothing alternative. What we wear is an important part of who we are and how we feel. That doesn't change when a person develops dementia. Helping a person to look the way they want to look is an important way of maintaining their confidence. Regularly compliment the person on the way they look and encourage them to take pride in their appearance. Encourage independence by allowing the person to choose his own clothing for the day. Label drawers where particular items of clothing are kept, or store whole outfits together. If this is overwhelming, set out 2 things to choose from, 2 shirts, 2 sets of pants, etc., and help them as needed. Sometimes people with dementia are reluctant to undress even when they go to bed, or will refuse to change their clothes. It's important to make sure the person changes their clothes frequently and to find ways to do this without upsetting them. It is also important to respect the person's choice of what to wear. As long as it does not harm them, it's probably better to accept the person dressing in an unusual way or wearing clothing that is out of place than to have a confrontation. If the person is determined to wear a hat in bed, for example, or a heavy coat in summer, try to respect their choice as long as it is safe for them. Always allow plenty of time so that neither of you feels rushed. Simple tasks such as getting dressed may take longer than expected. Be patient and do your best to enjoy your time together. When considering the needs of someone with dementia, it is important to find the right balance between independence and the need for protection. There is no such thing as a completely risk-free environment, and when someone is living with dementia, some minor accidents may be inevitable. But there are some sensible precautions that those around them can take to help minimize risk. Make sure that the lighting in the home is bright enough so that everyone can see clearly, but avoid lighting that shines directly into a person's eyes. If the person with dementia is likely to get up at night, leave a light on in the hall and provide a night light in the bedroom. Make sure there is a light on in the bathroom so the person can find their way at night. Watch out for potential fall hazards such as slippery rugs, loose carpets, especially on stairs, and slick floors. Eliminate unsteady furniture, obstructive clutter, and objects lying on the floor. Always store medicines somewhere safe. Lock away any poisonous substances such as cleaners, paint stripper, or disinfectant, as a person with dementia may not recognize these. The kitchen can be a dangerous place for a person with dementia. Remove any potentially dangerous implements such as sharp knives. but place items that will be used every day within easy reach. If the person can no longer safely use the stove, install child-proof handles to help keep them from turning on the burners. Or you can remove the knobs when the stove is not in use. Eliminate risks of fire in your loved one's home. Smoking can be risky. A person with dementia who smokes runs the risk of starting a fire because they may forget that they've lit a cigarette and will leave it burning. Remove candles, matches, and lighters from the home, as these are obvious fire hazards for a person with dementia. Electric blankets can be dangerous for people with impaired memory, as overheating can cause a fire. An electric blanket with safety features such as automatically switching off at a certain temperature or turning off after a number of minutes is a better choice. Of course, make sure the home is equipped with working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Test them monthly and change batteries twice a year. The Alzheimer's Association is an excellent resource for people dealing with people with dementia. Visit www.alz.org for information about latest research, local support groups, and what you may do to help people with dementia. Caregiving is a big, often exhausting job. Home Helpers is here to lend a hand. Whether it's to answer a caregiving question, provide an hour or two of respite, or around-the-clock care, consider letting our trained, compassionate caregivers make your life easier.